All right, fellas. Well, let's start with the main thing here. This one kind of felt like a statement win. What was that statement? Dale, we'll start with you.
Before we left the gym, I didn't even know, but Kay told me, that was my roommate this trip. He told me that we had like a 29% chance to win. And we just felt disrespected by that. So we just came out and put their backs against the wall and let him court, and it just came out to win.
Bryce, what do you think what do you think that you showed people about this team today?
That we got heart, bigger than, I'm good. We got heart. We could play deep in our roster. We could play with anybody, I think, big or small team. I think we could play with everybody.
Now, this was a Marquette team that entered the game leading the nation, field goal percentage defense, top 10 in the country in scoring defense, and you end up holding them to 25% shooting in the second half. Was that kind of the challenge for you today?
I think we take a lot of pride in defense, like a lot of pride in defense, way before offense. So I think if our defense playing, our offense is going to come along. But if we're not playing good defense, then our offense is going to be slow also. That's how I feel.
Okay. Well, let's open up to members of the media. Our first question is going to come from Marshall Scott from Pistols Firing. Go ahead, Marshall.
Yeah, you guys switched to a 2-3 zone, and that really kind of seemed to change things. It kind of seemed like an on-the-fly thing. Is that something that you guys have been working on extensively, or what went into that?
It was more of throughout the week, just game planning for them, just switching up the tempo. Like we said, they started off hot, and once we switched to that, they took it a long time, really the rest of the game, adjusting to it. So that's kudos to the coaching staff and the rest of my teammates for paying attention to detail and practice and just coming out and performing.
And also, members of the media, if you don't mind, if you could actually please let us know who you're addressing the question to, it'll make it go maybe a little bit smoother. Our next question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Bryce, we'll start with you on this. The defense, you talked about how you guys really pride yourself on that. The mixture defense, not just that zone, the presses, everything tonight. What does that say about you guys defensively as a team to be able to pull those kinds of defenses off on switches?
I just feel like whoever's in front of us, we feel like we can lock down. Like, that's my mentality. That's his mentality. That's our mentality. Whoever in front of us, taller than us, shorter than us, whatever team, conference, it doesn't really matter. We're going to – Coach, he scouts, and depending on how he scouts, that's what we play. So, yes, sir.
And this was kind of you played 3 minutes there tonight, but this was really kind of your first game. What was the key tonight for you coming off the bench?
Just to bring energy. I missed a couple of days, so I'm kind of out of shape and stuff. So I just try to bring as much energy as I can. We had a slow start, and whenever me and Dale just got in, we just tried to bring the energy. No crowd, so we just.
Now, Rondel, second straight big game for you, man. To carry that over, what was the key for you to kind of carry that over and keep that going after last Saturday?
It wasn't necessarily an expectation to keep it going. I feel like this performance in my last game is something that I feel like I contribute on a day-to-day basis. So it's just me, just letting the game come to me and just getting stops and playing within the offense, and I feel like everything else will take care of itself.
For either one of you guys mentioned this is a statement in a way. This is also a big test too. Do you guys feel like you could pass this test any better?
I feel like we could pass it better as we started off slow in the first half, but we adjusted well, and I thank my teammates and the coaching staff for helping us adjust to the moment, and we just seized the moment and came out with a big road win.
Awesome. Thanks, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Bryce, you said something interesting about depending on whatever the other team has, you adjust and you play that way. So essentially you can shapeshift some based off the opponent.
Yes, sir.
We talked a little bit at the beginning about kind of making a statement, and this is kind of a gritty win, but Rondel, maybe if you could talk about just the personnel, the athleticism, the physicality of the players on this team, that you have the ability to be able to shapeshift and not just be one thing every time.
Oh, yeah. I feel like we have a very, very deep roster with top down from 1 through 5. Like we said, we're traveling without 3 players, 2 players that contribute on a day-to-day basis, 20-plus minutes. We still came out to find a way. So this is a big, gauge for us. This is a Big 12 game in our opinion. We're going to see team this physical, this big, this fast, and every day in the Big 12. So we just came in. This is a great way for us to prepare later on down the road.
All right, our next question is going to come from Robert Allen from Triple Play Sports. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, and this is for both players. Have you guys noticed at all when you're in scrimmages and you switch to the zone that it picks up your offense as well? A lot of times defense keys offense, and it certainly looked like not only were you shutting Marquette down at that point, but it gave you guys offensive opportunities, or you took offensive opportunities.
I feel like we could play man also, but with the matchups, how much bigger they were, and KB getting in foul trouble, and we having one more big on the bench, we just had to play zone, and they couldn't shoot anyway, so we was just trying to make them drive, and we stopped the drive also, so it was just difficult on them.
Rondel?
I feel like with any team that I've ever been on, or any team around the country, if you get stops, offense comes. So we got, I don't know how many kills we got today. Our kills is 3 stops in a row. We had to get at least 5 of those. So this made it easier for us to run the transition and get set up to where we want to run. And we executed really well today.
One other thing for Rondel. Did you expect to be as comfortable as you are? I mean, you looked very comfortable on the floor this early in your career.
Yes, I expect to come in and play major minutes off the bat. So I appreciate the coach for trusting me with that factor, and I just got to go out there and do what I do best. You know, it's just something that we're all college players, so it's nothing to be gun shy about. I play with most of these guys on the circuit anyway, so it was never a shell shock to me. It was just something that I do.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Our next question is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, this question is for both you guys. Marquette kind of punched you guys in the mouth early with that quick run. What does that say about the grit that you guys have to be able to, punch them right back on that 15-0 run that you guys had in that first half?
I feel like whatever 5 we have out there, they can pick up the energy. And like I said, without fans, we're just going to have to do it ourselves. And we do it every day in practice. Our coach tells us we have to because there's no fans this year with COVID. So I just feel like if the starters are playing slow, the bench can pick it up. If the starters are playing fast and the bench is playing slow, we can still pick it up anytime.
Now, looking at the first half that you guys had against Marquette today, and then that first game to open the season was a close one. Being able to pull those type of games out, what does that do for you guys moving forward, knowing this early in the season you can win these type of games?
It just gives us confidence later on down the line that if we're ever in this position or any of those positions again, just know that we've done it before and there's nothing we're not used to. So getting this experience early but being down is not something we want to do, but we found a way to win, so that's a big plus. So we just got to find a way to win, and we do that. We've done it 3-0 so far. So.
All right, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Our next question comes from Grant Ramirez from the Ocali. Go ahead, Grant.
I guess this question is kind of for both of you. You touched on earlier, this is your first game that you played without any fans in the arena at all. Can you just kind of describe how different that was from the first 2 games that you played? And also, obviously, it's important for you guys to stay energized on the court, but how important is it for you to bring energy while you're on the bench as well?
They said no fans, but I swear they had about 60 fans in there, how packed they had Marquette. But it's just something we practice energy feeds. So energy is contagious, whether it's good or bad. So let's say the 5 that's out there, they need a little pick me up. That's what the bench and for the coaches is for. And our teammates and our coaching staff do a great job of picking us up when we need it. And we do a good job of running that way when we're up. So I kudos to that.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Our next question is going to come from Chris Becker from the Ocali. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, this question's for either one of you guys. Frank kind of touched on it, how you guys came out and you guys started off kind of slow. What was Ice's message to the players, about, kind of recovering and stepping back up?
Ice just saying every game from now on is going to be a dogfight. So we might well make this first one and get it out the way, grind through it. We had a slow start, but it doesn't really matter to us. If we're down 10, we're still going to come out with the dub. In my opinion, in our heads and our mentalities, we're going to come out with a dub.
Thank you, Bryce.
Yes, sir.
Our next question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, I'm curious, were you guys aware of the shooting numbers from Marquette in the second half. They didn't hit their third field goal until about 6:26 left in that half. Were you guys aware of that?
Yes, sir. Yes,
We're
sir.
talking the whole
Time we're talking to them.
We're talking stops, and we can tell the scoreboard.
We called 3 stops in a row a kill. So when we know in our head this third one about to come up, we need this kill. So yes, sir.
It's definitely a focus for us.
And then kind of a follow-up on the crowd noise or lack of crowd. Were they pumping in the noise? That's kind of what it sounded like on TV.
Yeah, they had the little 2K audio almost, like those fake fans making noise when we shoot free throws and stuff like that.
It was quiet though. It was quiet.
I was going to ask, what is that like for you guys to play with that kind of noise instead of fans?
It makes the game less mental, I feel like, because you don't have anybody in front of you or anything like that. It's just they hear, but they're not there, so it's really not even effective.
Yeah, there's no pressure on you.
Yeah,
just do you.
Really a practice. It's like practice, in my opinion.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas, that'll do it for questions. But is there anything maybe that we missed that you feel is important and is something that maybe we need to touch on before we break up the group here?
Tune in next game.
Yeah, just a little energizer button. When you come in, we up.
Yes, sir.
This is our dog. Yes,
I know how we doing it.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, though.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, fellas. We appreciate you guys. Congrats on the win.
Sir.
Have a safe trip home.
Yes, sir.
Coach.
Coach, congratulations on a gritty win on the road, no less.
Yeah, unbelievably proud of these kids. So absolutely, we'll take it.
What did you see out there? I mean, from your perspective.
It's a little loud. I can't hold on a second. Keep it down a little bit, please. Sorry, guys.
All right, I guess maybe we just kind of start at the top. What did you see from your perspective? What did it look like out there?
Saw a great response. As a coach this time of year, you don't really know your team that well. You don't know because you haven't really been through anything, haven't really faced any adversity. Everybody's playing all the minutes that they expect to play and getting all the shots and scoring all the points. And, we played a real big high-level team today on the road, and we got down. And to see the way we responded, didn't flinch, didn't start pointing fingers, coming more together. And then certainly Bryce and Rondel were huge sparks off the bench for us.
Was there anything that happened during that early stretch there when they were, when they jumped out on top? Was there anything where you saw a spark where you said, you know what, this thing can turn and here's why?
Well, I felt like we were just not in rhythm offensively. And I thought we needed to try to attack the paint a little bit more. And then defensively, we couldn't find great matchups across the board. And so obviously we made an adjustment and went to a lot more zone. We always kind of have that in our back pocket. I didn't expect to play it as much. We usually like to play it out of timeout, so it just is a change of pace. But I told our guys to be ready for it, and it certainly was a big factor in the game for us, in my opinion.
So we just had the guys in here, and they really focused on defense, and a lot of their messaging and what they were saying had to do with defense. And they talked about kills and the priority on getting kills. Can you maybe take us through that and what is that like on the bench? What is that like on the court? What's that dialogue like?
So we define a kill on defense as getting 3 consecutive stops. And so we have pregame goals. We try to measure as much as we can so that guys can have tangible things that they can achieve throughout the game. And we want to try to get about 6 of them per game. And so if we get 6 kills in one game, that means that there were 18 possessions that the other team didn't score. And many of those were in a row. And so that really stifles the other team's ability to get into a flow offensively. Now, obviously, you can't foul, you can't give up an offensive rebound and things like that. So I don't know how many we had tonight. I'll go back and check the numbers, but we did a really, really good job of staying focused on that. Guys talk about it to each other on the bench. We get to 2 stops in a row and we score. You hear guys on the bench talking about we need 1 more for a kill. And again, those things are just deflating. If a team goes 3 possessions in a row without scoring, it really starts to bother them psychologically. And the fact that our kids this early have bought into that, makes me really proud. I mean, we're playing a lot of young guys out there. I know the expectations. I get it. Part of it's on me. I haven't shied away from it. But to keep this thing in perspective, I mean, we start a freshman out there. He's a really talented freshman, but he's a freshman. 2 sophomores who I think combined to start 3 games last year as freshmen, and really a new senior, if you will, a guy who hasn't really been in our program. So we really only have one really experienced guy that knows our program. Then off the bench, we bring a freshman in Rondel. We bring a freshman in MA. We bring a freshman in in Donovan. And really, Bryce as an older guy, still his first time. So we're still trying to find ourselves, but I think the promise of what we saw tonight gives us a lot to be excited about as we go through the season.
Members of the media, if you have a question for head coach Mike Boynton, please click raise hand. Our first question is going to come from Chris Becker from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Coach, you talked about it earlier about that slow start. What was your message to the team in the huddle when you guys found yourself down early and had some turnover issues?
Just to settle down. It's a long game, and I know sometimes especially with young guys, you get up to a bad start, they start looking around for answers. They look for help. What I tell them is the help's here. The help's in this huddle. The help's with the other 4 guys on the court. So look to each other for a boost. And obviously, once we subbed and changed defenses, the complexion of the game changed.
Thanks, Coach.
Our next question comes from Robert Allen from Triple Play Sports. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, Mike, obviously the switch to the zone changed things for you on the defensive end. Did you expect to have such an immediate change from with the defensive switch on the offensive end? Because it certainly looked like it keyed the offense as well.
Yeah, it's crazy as it sounds. Our zone defense was much more active when we went to it than we even were in our man-to-man early. And again, part of it is the personnel you got out there in the different spots of the zone. But when you get Rondel and Bryce, they're both rangy, long, athletic guys who can get their hands on balls and take away passing lanes. And we really had those guys really hesitant out there offensively. So I think it did spark us because we got deflections. We were able to get out in transition and get some easy baskets ourselves, which really settled us down on the offensive end.
The other thing, I asked Rondel this, and I saw him play in high school at Putnam City West. Are you surprised how comfortable he is? Because he right now on the floor, he doesn't look like a guy playing his first college season. He looks like he's having fun, and he's been doing this a while.
Yeah, and I'm awfully proud. I've known the kid since he was 14 years old. And that's the beauty of doing what I do is getting in on kids early and watching them develop, seeing their potential. But I said it in the preseason all along. I mean, he's a guy who's, I know all the expectations on Cade and MA coming in, but he's gonna be a hard guy to keep off the court. And just because he impacts the game in so many different ways. He's not just a jump shooter. He's not just a defender. He's a really good basketball player. And I'm proud of his development. And I'm proud that he understands that he has a great opportunity in front of him to play for his home state school and represent the way he's doing. I hope all the kids in Oklahoma are looking at him, seeing what they could do at Oklahoma State.
Thanks.
Our next question comes from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Mike, kind of the way you talked about the defense in the preseason progressing, and this is not to say you guys have already arrived, it's 3 games of the season, but did you see this rapid progression coming this quick tonight?
It was certainly a concern of mine 3 weeks ago. I think I may have told you guys we were way ahead offensively than we are defensively. We're still slightly ahead, but it's not as much. And obviously, having guys continue to learn what we do, get more comfortable with their teammates and our schemes, because sometimes it's like, learning a new language, for a lot of these guys, especially the freshmen who've never been asked to really be accountable. It's really what gave Rondel an advantage over many of the other freshmen that I've coached, is that he had an identity on the defensive end already coming in. And so I'm glad that we are progressing. We haven't arrived. We've got a long way to go. We made a lot of mistakes tonight. We had a lot of turnovers. We missed a lot of layups. But to go on the road against a real team in the Big East and find a way to win, because that's what we did. We found a way to win against a quality team on the road. I'm going to head home really, really proud and happy and can't wait to get back to work with these guys.
Is there a trick to get these young guys to buy in to the defense?
I don't think so. My coaching philosophy is about building guys up and giving them confidence. And obviously, I hope this comes out the right way. This is the first group of guys. I recruited this entire roster, right? And so there's a different message, right? As much as I recruited and coached other guys through our program, I had the time invested in everybody at that point. And so it's just different. And you can tell that the reason they came here is because they believed in that, if that makes any sense. And so that they understand from day one what this is about, what it's going to be about, what it's going to take for us to have success, and I treat everybody the same. K gets a butt chewing when he doesn't block out, the same as MA or Rondel does. Ice gets the chewing out if he turns the ball over, the same as if Caleb or Keelan does. And so everybody gets treated with love and respect, but we demand a lot of them.
And Bryce essentially made his debut tonight. I know he played a few minutes tonight. Was he kind of like a secret weapon almost to you guys coming? There's not a lot of film on him for Marquette.
He's a secret weapon to a lot of people, but not to us. I mean, and I think I may have alluded to it in talking a couple of weeks ago about our depth of our backcourt. Mm-hmm. And we don't ever talk about Bryce. And again, he hasn't done anything here, right? There's not a whole lot of film from his time at Ole Miss, but Coach Pastrana recruited him to the junior college, watched him play in high school. I recruited him out of junior college. So, we know what he's capable of. And so what he did tonight is what he's capable of doing. He's a guy who can come in and get 15 points off the bench. He can disrupt the game defensively. He can be a big weapon as we move forward in the season.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Our next question comes from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Mike, what did you find out about your team today and their ability to respond to coaching adjustments, mid-game?
I told our guys in the last time out, I told our guys actually at halftime that we would find out a lot about ourselves because we started down, we fought back, but then we lost the lead right before half again. And the way we responded by attacking the paint again, I think we got 3 shots on the first possession of the second half. We played with an edge. And you're not sure that you're going to always be able to do that with a bunch of young guys. And so I think I learned that we have an edge to us. We have a competitive spirit across the board that can carry on the road, that can help us when we don't make shots because we didn't shoot the ball great tonight. Bryce stepped up and made a couple, but overall we didn't shoot the ball great as a team. And so this team can find different ways to have success, and that's something to be excited for moving forward.
And everybody knows that Isaac is your bona fide leader of this group. How do you feel he responded in galvanizing being the leader of this team today?
He was terrific. He's been terrific for the last 2 days. And you could tell after the game on Saturday, he was already sending the message that no disrespect to Texas Southern or UTA, but this is going to be a different game. This is going to be a big boy game. This was going to be like a Big 12 game. This is going to be like going on the road to Ames or going on the road to Manhattan. And, you need guys that are going to fight. And he sent that message. It was received by his teammates, and they certainly followed through on it.
And then with this being a big game, there was a lot of talk about, OSU's got a freshman, Marquette's got a freshman. How did you see Cade Cunningham not get too wrapped up in that and just, play basketball?
Cade doesn't care about any of that. That's kind of the thing that's so impressive about him. He doesn't care about his numbers. He doesn't care about who he's playing against. He's totally locked into trying to help our team win. And that's the thing that I've been most impressed about is he doesn't get caught up in the ancillary stuff. I was pretty upset that he wasn't player of the week and freshman of the week in the Big 12 yesterday. He wasn't. He was happy. His boy won freshman of the week, Mike Miles at TCU. So that's who he is. He wants to see his guys have success. But, to be the first freshman in the league since Mike Beasley to get 20 and 10 in your debut, I think that spoke a lot of what he's capable of. But he doesn't get caught up in it. He just wants to go out there and help his team win.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Marshall Scott from Pistols Firing. Go ahead, Marshall.
Yeah, Mike, a scary part of going to a zone can be rebounding at times. You knew they were a good rebounding team coming in. How do you kind of feel like your guys held up against that?
That's an area we actually did better as the game went along. We didn't do a very good job to start the game. It was certainly a concern because they're so big. The zone did keep bodies around their bigs, though, and that's what kind of gave us a little bit of fight. And when we did able to scrap out a few rebounds, we were able to get out in transition and run. So I'll have to go back and look at the tape and see how well we blocked out. I know that's an area where Cade is not going to grade out very well. I told him about it at the end of the game. But again, we found a way to win with a lot of things not going our way, and I'm really, really proud.
How is Caleb's kind of spirit after this? Obviously not the game that he wanted, but it did end up in a win.
Yeah, he's okay. I mean, again, those guys want to win above all else. Sure, he would like to have played better offensively, had better numbers, but he made some timely baskets, got some timely rebounds and blocks for us. But the beauty of our team and having depth is it could be Bryce Williams tonight. It could be Cade at UTA. It could be Rondel on Saturday. And you know, on the next time we play, it could be Keelan. It could be Caleb. So that's why you build a team. That's why I recruited depth. And that's why we were able to come in here and even without our best guys having their best games, still able to win.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, our last question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, I wanted to ask about the lack of crowd. You've kind of seen you've run the gamut almost of this 3 games. You had very little fans in Arlington, 25% in Gallagher, Iba, and no fans tonight. What's kind of your assessment of how this season is with the fan situation?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know. I can't really get a rhythm myself. Obviously, knowing that there's no fans kind of sets a totally different mindset for you. When you know there's limited fans, you don't really know what that means, right? I mean, again, I'm not the decision maker at UTA, but I looked and thought they could have had many more and still socially distanced, right, their crowd. But, that's their decision, and, we're doing what we're doing, and we're going to see this be different everywhere we go this year. And so what we have to do is just focus on how we play, bring our own energy. I thought our team did a great job of that, picking each other up. And again, just go on the road when you can, find a way to win. Every road win is like a win and a half.
How do you prepare for that? Do you pump in the noise like they were tonight? Do you turn off the music at times? What do you do?
As you know, I mean, we play music at practice ourselves, but we don't know. So this is the first time we've ever played where they were able to pump in music. We hadn't had that. UTA didn't do that. I think the Big East kind of adopted that as something that they're allowing this year. So it was the first time we experienced that. I thought the guys did fine. It was interesting. The only time that I even noticed that the music was playing was when MA was in shooting free throws at the end of the game. And I was like, well, thanks. Now the guy's going to be thinking about music playing. And he already, they fouled him on purpose. So he went 1 for 2, and we'll take that every time.
Thanks, Mike.
One final thought, Coach. In a year where scheduling has just been a bloody mess across the board in college basketball, how much maybe greater of an impact can a win like this have when everything is so compressed before you get to Big 12?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to evaluate these things, right? I mean, it's hard to tell. Everybody's going to look a little bit different. And so how do you really judge a team who maybe hasn't played yet? And there's several teams who have not played a game yet versus a team who's been able to play a couple of games on the road, play the game at home, and what that looks like one versus the other. What we got to do is just focus on getting better and trying to enjoy the opportunities that we do get to play as we move forward through this crazy season.
All right, well, that'll do it for questions. Is there anything maybe that we missed or any important points that you feel like is something that needs to be out there while we've got the group here all together?
No, I mean, again, just really, really proud. I think what we saw was in a way that, this program is continuing to improve, that the plan is evolving, it's getting better, and that, we got a chance to be a really, really competitive team as we continue to go through the season.
Coach, thank you so much. Congratulations on the win. Have a safe trip home.
Thank you.
Members of the media, thank you as well. We appreciate you as always.